CN Reddit subdivision is a length of track that I don't necessarily shoot that often. The main reason is because the trains on it get kind of boring. On any given day of the Reddit subdivision, you'll see about 10 to 15 intermodal trains, a handful of manifests, and if you're lucky, a few work trains or locals. Now, the locals mainly apply to the city, which means if you want classic local power like GP9s or GP38s, you have to be inside the city to see them. So if you're outside the city, you're pretty much out of luck. Now, there is 4 trains in particular that people love filming for the reason of classic power and classic equipment. That being the VIA Rail trains. Manitoba sees about 4 VIA Rail trains any given week, being the Canadians number 1 and number 2, or the Churchill trains 692, 693, and sometimes apparently 691, which I had no idea existed. Aside from that, VIA trains are very easy to track, considering that there is an official VIA Rail website where you can literally track the location and speed of any VIA train on its system. That brings us to today's video. February 16th. I received information from another local rail fan that both 692 and number 1 would be arriving in Winnipeg at decent times the same day. Upon finding this out, I called up MSRF member David
gotta get with my friends
so we could schedule something to shoot both the trains and anything that came our way on CN. So we would pack our bags and head out trackside. The first shot of the evening would be for VIA Rail 692. VIA Rail 692, otherwise known as the Polar Bear Express, which do they even call it that anymore? Is a train that runs southbound from Churchill to Winnipeg. Now, I know I did say that we were going out trackside, however, we are riverside, technically. You see, we are at a location called The Forks, which is located just between St. Boniface and downtown Winnipeg. The Forks was a old rail yard turned into a shopping center where you can shop, eat, literally do anything recreational. Hell, in the winter you can skate, which is what people are doing down the river right now as we film this train. With that little rant and location info aside, let's watch the train go by. After watching 692 cross the Red River, we would go into the VIA station, or at least I, Maple, would go into the VIA station because I wanted a gift bag, or a goodie bag. Call me a child, but I've been collecting these things ever since I was little. Why? Because coloring books, that's why. After messing around at the VIA station for a bit, David picked me up again, and we finally would make our way down to the Reddit sub to watch for the arrival of VIA Rail number 1. Now, Z111, which is the train that we'd have to shoot before number 1 because it was in front of it, was having quite a few issues, to say the least. After getting an alarm from a wheel impact load detector, the RTC was forced to make a decision to notify and block traffic along the Reddit sub, also that way they could set off the 3 cars that were suffering from shelled wheels. Unfortunately, I don't have audio of the exchange because the train crew and the RTC were having such a good time talking to each other. I mean, they had no choice, they had to make light of the situation somehow, but here is Z111 crossing the curve at Dugald. Oh yeah, I should say we are 5 minutes outside of Dugald at the curve, which is a very scenic spot in the summer, winter, basically any time of year because classic railroad crossing gates. Now, those shots were made courtesy of the drivers that parked their car further back from the stop line to allow us to work to get our amazing shots. I know you guys aren't probably watching this video, but shout out to you if you are. Next up is VIA Rail number 1, the Canadian. On tonight's Canadian, the engineer was super friendly and did not disappoint us with a very nice sounding horn show.
4. No alarms. Temperature -1, 2, C. Total axle 2, 5, 2. Speed 2, 5.
After shooting them there, the original plan was to go home, but with such a friendly engineer on our hands, we could not say no to another opportunity to shoot them. So with that information, we made our way to Pine Ridge Road, which is a couple crossings up after Dugald, which is just outside city limits, where we would get another horn show, this time with the emergency horn. Now, if you thought that was going to be the final shot of VIA for the night, you'd be wrong, as I would almost fall and break my ass trying to get this last shot at Ravenhurst finally inside the city.